Hi everybody, I'm Caroline Sotheby and welcome to Up, Down and Around Town on the Road. Okay, it's our 12th week already, would you believe that? And as you can tell, the hair is growing longer and everybody, just including me, waiting for that barbershop and beautician to open up and get some feedback over there. As it is right now, it seems in our local area, I've noticed today the Roselle Free Bridge is closed till December, so if you were planning on hopping that way, be aware of that. Also, Secretary of State, hey, it's finally opening up June 1st, but it's by appointment only, and it's Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. And at the www, Michigan Governor SOS for Secretary of State, okay? Well, as you all know, our mayor passed away a couple of weeks ago, and there's little changes in the City Hall right now. Right now, as it stands, Rob DeSena is still the mayor pro tem. He was hoping to keep it that way. I think he feels secure. But right now, with this pandemic, it's kind of rough to make decisions until you get familiar with this person and that person, and as it stands right now, Rob is comfortable to be able to update us on what's going on at the city and the City Hall. So let's take it to Rob DeSena.
Thank you for the opportunity to address the citizens of Wyandotte. What I'm going to do is give some information as far as helping citizens navigate through this trying time. If they need anything from the clerk's office or the engineer's office and municipal service. If you need anything, services from the engineer's office, please call. The telephone number is 324-4551. And somebody should be able to help you there. You can also go online or the city's website, and if you go on the website, on the left-hand side, the column that says forms, list all the departments, the engineer, and it's got like 49 different applications. So depending on which one you need, you pick that out. If you want to email the engineering office, it's engineering with the numeral 1 at wyandotte.mi.gov. And if you're filling out an application, once it's reviewed, it's notified as far as what the fee will be. Today, which is May 28th, Thursday, May 28th, the recycling center is opening, but it's only open for grass clippings and brush and shrub. The paper and cardboard and glass and tin and all that, where those items are taken to, they're still closed, so there's no place for us to take it. But the hours for the yard waste and grass and shrubs are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 7:30 p.m., Saturday 8 a.m. to 5:30 p.m., and then Sunday from 12 noon to 4 p.m. If there are complaints of trash or high grass, you can call the engineer's office at 324-4551, or you can call the mayor's office at 324-4541. Or you can email Julie, the Secretary of the Mayor's office, at JSADLOWSKI@wyandotte.mi.gov. For the clerk's office, you can call this number, 324-4560. It'll ring at City Hall, then it'll be transferred to a cell phone. A lot of the employees have been working from home during this epidemic. If you need a birth certificate or a death certificate, you're going to need to have a photocopy of your driver's license and scan that and send it to the clerk's office at wyandotte.mi.gov, or you can mail it at 3200 Biddle Avenue, Wyandotte 48192. Birth certificates, only people that can obtain a birth certificate are the names on the certificate as far as the mother or father and the individual who is the person that was on the birth certificate. Every department has notice on the doors at City Hall, on the parking lot side of the building, of hours and numbers and of what to do pertaining to whatever issue that you might need help with. Municipal service, the number there is 324-7190. That's the customer assistance number. It is monitored from 8 a.m. till midnight, and you can also email municipal service at TALK, TALK, the numeral 2 WMS at WYAN.org. Again, somebody is monitoring that email site from 8 a.m. to midnight. You can pay your utility bills online or by phone, or there's a drop box at City Hall. I mentioned the recycling center. City Hall is opening Monday, June 1st, but it's only going to be for all the employees. During this time, most of the employees have been working from home, but there have been department heads and some other employees going in and taking care of business. City Hall will not be open to the public June 1st, Monday, June 1st. We're still going to go by the governor's stay-at-home orders, so we'll wait till June 12th to see what comes out of that, see if we can leave our house. There was a question regarding power outages this past weekend, and I'll just read a statement that I got from Municipal Service. Memorial Day, May 25th, 2020, and Tuesday, May 26th, 2020, electrical outages. Equipment failure at the Grove Station at 7 a.m. on Memorial Day resulted in the transfer of load to a secondary circuit out of the Grove substation. On Tuesday, the secondary circuit out of the Grove substation was having difficulty keeping up with the load due to the high temperatures. The entire load from the Grove substation was transferred to the Wyandotte substation in order to safely make repairs at the Grove substation. Due to the transferred load and high temperatures on Tuesday, several minor outages occurred on circuits served by the Wyandotte substation. The Grove substation backs up the Wyandotte substation and vice versa. In order to safely make repairs, parts of the system needed to be de-energized at certain times to repair a return Grove substation to normal. The Commission and the City Council approved a 4.8 kV to a 13.8 kV conversion project in November of 2019. Work started just before Christmas, and the project will be completed later this summer or early fall of 2020. This project provides a more reliable and standardized electrical network with redundancy and will result in the Grove and Wyandotte substations no longer being necessary. The phase one of that installation, that project is being handled by a contractor, Universal. You'll see their trucks driving around the city. They're doing the pre-conversion work. Yeah, the name of it is Universal. And then the phase two, I believe, is going to be taken care of by the municipal service employees. At this time, I just want to compliment the employees for the work they've been doing in difficult times. Everything I hear and the way I understand it is the work's being done, handled in a very professional and timely manner. So with that, I want to thank you for allowing me to give this information to the public.
Okay. Things happen sometimes. It's funny how one you see something and it leads to another. And that's exactly what happened to me a couple of weeks ago. I started looking through some material, especially to find out what the conditions were in the late 1800s and early 1900s in Wyandotte. I mean, we're having this virus now. What were they witnessing then? And found out that there were quite a few of them, especially, at that one time, they had malaria, cholera, grip, and these diseases were aggravated by insect-infested swamp and wooded lands. Later on, typhoid, diphtheria, smallpox, which was something else, and tuberculosis were the other diseases. It wasn't until they had pasteurized milk, and that was done by the first milk company we had here in Wyandotte, and that was Johnson's Creamery. They had the pasteurizer put in, and then unfiltered water coming from the polluted were taken care of by what? By our filtration plant. So we had a lot of things that our original, whether it was council or it was the people here that actually believed they had to do something because there were too many sicknesses. They had a real bad 1881, they had 40 cases of typhoid, and then in 1890 another epidemic came up. So it was one thing that they had to go and get bonds and get these facilities. Right now, you notice we have the water, we have electric, we have the sewage, and that all came about because of the people here willing to spend their money in the right direction. So we have to give them credit. It was not until early 1900s that things were starting to get better over here. As a matter of fact, I laughed. There was an article there, it's saying that there was an ordinance that if you spit on the sidewalk, you got fined. So that was something at that time when they believed the sanitation and things should be taken care of. So anyway, we got to that part, and at the end of his thing showed something that Mr. Ball died in 1915, and he was 25 years old, and he left a child and a wife. And that little child was, of course, for many people, Lucy Ball. So with that, we go in a couple more years and find out that they left and went to Jamestown and stayed there. But the mother always kept in touch with the family here, and especially the Daniel family. So there's some pictures in the scrapbook that show Lucy with the family gathering. She also was on the boat at one time. They even had her come a couple of times for bond drives and going to the Wyandotte Theater, Majestic Theater. So it's nice to know that. And then you go ahead into another era, and Sherry Fricke, who's the founder of Women of Wyandotte, happened to call her daughter in 2013 and said that they were going to dedicate that Woman of Wyandotte program in favor of her mom. And she was grateful. She says she couldn't make it, but thank you. And so in 2013, not only was that dedication with the other people that were nominated, but also Kathy Wake Raleigh had a picture. She painted a beautiful picture of Lucille Ball, and that was one of the fund drives in there. So we'll give you this is sort of update, like you get from one, you go to another and to another. But with this, it's leading into another, because Kathy Wake not only does painting, but she has painting parties. And it's the art side of her that I'm getting attracted. And we're going to go into Jeremy from River's Edge Gallery and a little bit more about art.
In this day and age, you can't get away from it. I mean, you know, video game design, for example, you know, there's story writers, there's voice actors, there's animators, there's storyboard, you know, there's actual artists who aren't digital artists, and, you know, billboards and advertising and TV. If you look now, YouTube's, you know, the new, you know, television, right? People don't have to make it home at 8 p.m. anymore to watch their favorite program. They just wait for YouTube or go to the website or, you know, whatever. So I mean, you're surrounded by art. I think it's good to know about the history of it. You know, especially if you're interested in something. It's good to know like where things came from. Like, you know, I mean, yes, if I asked a high school kid today about Andy Warhol, I don't think many of them would know. But some of my generation, everyone knew who Andy Warhol was. And, you know, he's a great he was the godfather of pop art, you know, and the 15-minute fame and, you know, and like having the factory where, you know, his work was produced by interns, so to speak, or, you know, his friends and things. So, you know, I mean, art education is important because I think it's good to know, like, you know, where things came from and why, you know, it gives more of a backstory instead of just, like, for example, it's a Jersey Warble, like a painting of a tree. You know, so if I was to tell you, some people see it as just a tree, and well, now some people are more interested in where's the location. Well, it's, you know, it's around the Great Lakes area, and you know, some people who are horticulture, you know, want to know what kind of a tree it is, but other, you know, but the really cool story is like it's Jersey Warble and about the artist, about where he came from, and you know, how it's inspired from the Group of Seven, or, you know, which were a great group of Canadian artists, like World War II era. You know, train jumpers, they would jump trains and go and do like landscapes. I mean, that's pretty punk, you know. Like nowadays, people just go in their cars or whatever, they take a photograph and they paint a tree. I mean, these guys were, you know, hiking in the mountains and taking their palettes and, you know, painting in jumping trains, painting, you know, and hiking and painting what they saw in nature. So it's kind of like, you know, it gives a different feel, a different flavor to this painting if you kind of know a backstory or a little bit of history, or if you're familiar with, you know, the historical chronological order of how art's produced.
Okay, about a month ago we had a drive that was featured, but then it was canceled because it was asking volunteers to come and help clean out all these flower beds. Well, that was canceled for one reason, because no groups and stay at home and so on. So the Beautification Commission, I think, managed to do a beautiful job, and we got to give one person in particular, a person by the name of Maggie. You might see her every day. She's in that little cart. Rick got a big kick out of it, and he says she's she's got her water jug. She goes to the city hall, side thing, gets it filled up. She takes care of all these flower beds that you have around here. And hey, that's not an easy task. She's a one-woman company, so to speak. She gets around, she cleans them, she waters them, and you know what? She's always got a nice smile. She always can say hi to you and make your day feel great. But I think because you can smile and talk back to her real nice, makes her day too. It makes one less maybe flower bed that she can tolerate. So anyway, if you happen to see her, say hi. And I'm sure she'll smile and talk to you too. you heard from Bill Rice in front of the American Legion 217, and he did tell us that on Friday they would have a food drive for anybody that like to have it, especially seniors or even if you're a veteran, whatever. They had 400 packages that would be available through the courtesy of Gleaners. So we haven't had a chance to get down there, but might take a ride just to see how they're making out over there. All right, you want to know where you can get some masks besides making your own and the sanitizer in case you can't find it at the store again? Hey, you got to come down here. Right in back of us is that little cubby hole, and somebody came in here that is new to our business, but not new to what's being sold nowadays. Rich had talked to him. It would probably go in there and get an idea of a bird's eye view of why he came here. So let's go in.
Okay. Well, it all started here in Wyandotte. I was at the 7-Eleven a couple of months ago, and I observed a kid coming in, and he was coughing and sneezing all over the place. I was prepared to shut down my tool manufacturing and distribution business in Romulus because we were deemed, in a sense, non-essential. And after witnessing the young kid cough and sneeze across the counter, I said, I can make plexiglass sneeze guards, but I can do it differently. I can do it by the thousands, not one-offs, and I can use my 15,000 square foot manufacturing facility in Romulus. So we were kind of, for lack of better terms, first to market, and started prototyping and set up all the fixtures to manufacture in as little as 7 hours. After that, we were ready to make it by the thousands, the plexiglass sneeze guards. And so it really all started in Wyandotte at the local 7-Eleven there on Biddle. Set up a website, bought a bunch of domain names, plexiglassneezeguards.com, acrylicsneezeguards.com, and also landed on magnumsafetyproducts.com. So that's the featured site that we're trying to set up, in a sense, a new business to offer a variety of safety products. So what really moved things along was, unbeknownst to me, the governor picked it up in the state of Michigan and said, come to Magnum Tools in Romulus. We can provide safety products for you. And things really blew up as far as offering products. The first mission was to provide for essential businesses, gas stations, convenience stores, places where you buy milk. And that was really the first version. So up and down Biddle Avenue, ambulances were plenty, taking people over to Beaumont Hospital. And that was really the first mission, was to keep essential businesses open and keep people from going to the hospital. Along the way, the business has pivoted as far as Magnum safety products, and our goal is to allow businesses now to safely open, reduce the spread of the virus, and keep the businesses open without having this nasty virus reemerge. We were sending so much stuff out of state, $7,000 in shipping to send plexiglass sneeze guards to moving and storage companies throughout the country. And it's not about bragging. At the end of the day, it's really about being proud to serve these businesses. We've now served many, many, many banks, hundreds of units, 500 units going to a place called Ameris Bank, Chase Bank, Citibank. Pretty much any kind of business you can think of, we sent sneeze guards, and we started bottling hand sanitizer as well, but so much of this was going out of the state of Michigan. 81 Buffalo Wild Wing restaurants, and then they kept on climbing on the Buffalo Wild Wings. So they saw value in the product. Some of the value is just to get the employees back to work so they feel safe and protected. The other value is for consumers to come into the business and feel safe and protected. Some of these business owners, it was heartbreaking. They would pull up to the building in Romulus and they'd say, hey, look, I've been working 12 hours, 18 hours a day. I can't get my employees to come into work. I had to shut my business down 3 days ago. How fast can I get one of these? I just can't keep my business closed, and I just can't work these hours anymore. I can't keep it up. And they would pull up, and we would assist them with the plexiglass sneeze guards and stuff. And I'm a local Wyandotte resident. We love the walking distance that we live to downtown here in Wyandotte. So as far as giving thanks, I have to give thanks to the city of Wyandotte for jumping through hoops to allow us to open as fast as possible, because we did view it as a time-sensitive issue. One of the things I found as well, the faster that we can get some of this stuff out, the faster these businesses can open, the reduced amount of people that we're potentially sending to a hospital, because at a hospital that's where the real heroes are. They're the ones that are truly saving lives during this global pandemic. Behind the scenes, my staff, we've had to reinvent an entire business within a month. Actually, essentially start an entire business within 1 to 2 months. And there's a tremendous amount of work on all phases, lining up production, lining up media coverage, lining up literature, lining up a website. The list goes on, and we tried to do this in a very short amount of time, and the staff has been amazing. We've had volunteers that have come from all kinds of different walks of life. They've come to our shop to pick up orders and volunteer to drive them. An example, they came from Monroe to Romulus to pick up, Romulus to Brighton, Brighton to Kalamazoo, Kalamazoo to Grand Rapids, and on the way home they called and said, can we do it again? I mean, the dedication of these people to try and do something to keep people healthy and also to get people back to work is amazing. And it could not have been done without the blend of my staff, the new people that we brought on and had to hire, and the large amount of volunteers that put everything together to make things happen. So thanks has to go out to them.
This is the end of the number 12 week. Hopefully that we'll be back in the studio in a couple more weeks. Who knows for sure. But as it stands right now, we're still stay safe, wash those hands, and hopefully we'll see you next time on Up, Down, and Around Town. Take care now. Bye-bye. Okay?
Okay. In 3, 2, 1.
You know, it's funny how one thing can lead to another. Right now, it looks like they're having a good time over there. Who's our familiar person down at the library? Now, he said he retired. He said he retired.
I want to be like that when I grow up.
No.